Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Ali Cat here. It's coming up on the 4-year anniversary of my first ever YouTube video, which was about me being homeless. Complete and utter disaster. So last night, so today that you'll see this will be the 4-year anniversary, but yesterday I started filming and this would have been about 6:30, 7:30 at night. The I first wanted to watch part 1 and jot down notes so I could do part 2. And then a couple of minutes into, I thought, why don't I do a reaction video to me reacting with my first YouTube channel. I know it didn't come off the way I wanted it to come off. I know I didn't use any editing software. I literally shot it in the back of my car, front of my car, whatever. Cracking the screen, I literally just pressed the button, it uploaded, no editing, no nothing. And I wanted to go back to see what I wrote or what I said, but also I think in 4 years I've changed a lot in my skills and my strengths as a person, I guess. I don't know how to word that. Sounds like, I'm telling you I can articulate better and I can't articulate this. So I just wanted to come on here and say that I filmed a reaction, as well as that video would have been about an hour long, and I kept going off like on tangents and explaining things, and it was just becoming more clearer that I didn't really know what it is that I wanted to say. I think as I watched my video I realized that it was only half an hour and I thought it was like an hour long. Like, I haven't watched this video from start to finish in probably about 4 years. Like, it would pop up when I go onto my channel and I would hear like the first, like, hey Alley Cats, that was all I would hear. So when I feel like there's just so many things left unsaid, so many things that I should have said, and so many things I didn't say, and so many things that I said that I shouldn't have said. So I guess it's a blessing in disguise, but I filmed about 2.5 hours worth of content, half an hour of replying to a comment that was on my channel, and 2 hours of like just whether I used the 2 hours is a different story. Anyway, I finished filming about 11:30 and I wanted to upload to my computer to see what I had. Obviously start the editing process. I don't know if I'm doing the wrong thing, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I need an Apple compatible cable for my phone. But the videos were on my phone, but I could not upload them to my channel. And I mean, like, I was still trying to do this at 7:30 in the morning. And I was done filming at 11:30, so that's, I don't know how many hours, 7 hours roughly. And then it got to about 7:30, 8 o'clock where I thought, let's actually watch these videos and see, because I was crying. Like, I was so upset that I could not get these freaking, like, I even bought a camera. Like, I shouldn't have bought a camera, but I even bought a camera and I think I'm going to be really, really happy. Kind of expensive, shouldn't have bought it, but at the same time, like, I just, for my own sanity, I needed to, because that's what's half the issue is, like, I'm filming on a webcam now, which I guess the quality is great, it was okay, but I really wanted that mobile of a camera. Whereas there's only certain places, like webcam, you have to have it connected to your laptop. But then, I went through the footage and realised out of probably the 2.5 hours, probably about 15 minutes worth of content. So I'd rather just repeat myself. Like, I've able to get out of the 3, 2 of them to upload to the computer, and there's just 1 hour and 3 minutes that I just cannot for the life of me. And realising that I didn't even actually react properly to the video. So I'm going to put up what I can put up, but but this might seem splice. So this video is just going to be me reacting to the video, and in reacting to the video and filming it, I also realized that I really should take this video down. It's not just because it's unedited and it's raw, but it's just absolute nonsense. Like, I don't even explain myself properly. It's so out there. It's not out there as in like, oh, you need to be on something to get it, but like out there as in there's just no structure. There's like, bam. I feel like I need to actually sit down and explain from A to B. So this video is here or there. Like, I don't think I explain anything. I don't think I go into depth, or not. I think I know now. There's just half an hour of me sitting in the car talking about nonsense. Like, I have a few little funny snippets, but didn't really explain myself properly. So it's kind of upsetting that I feel like I need to take that video down because, one, I said a few things I shouldn't have said, as I said, but like I don't take back the things that I said, but I feel like let's actually upload something with substance. I don't feel like that was my best work. Sure, it was my first video, but I feel like, yeah, it was my best work. So I really know this is a long intro, and I'll put what I can up of me reacting. But I feel like it's not so much me reacting, it's me responding to this comment that I'll somehow editing put in to this. So let's get into it. Oh, I wasn't filming. This is a really long day. So, take 784. I have officially decided that I am going to delete my first video. It's half an hour of weird assumptions, comments about what happened. I don't think it's a true and accurate depiction of what I'm trying to say at all. It just not. Like, I needed a video, thought I knew. Yeah. So my first video, sure, I've said it, was meant to be one thing. Then I've also said like 6 or 7 different things that need to be separate videos and addressed separately. So I'm going to upload my original video with some editing in it to cut out the bits that I don't want, but also have a reminder of what I actually did say and how young I was. But yeah, it's not so much that it depicts me in a bad light. It's the fact that I don't really know what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to say 20 things at once, and the things that I am saying don't make sense, and it's almost like, well, why are you mentioning it? Like, I need to address things in separate videos. Like, if you want how I became homeless, this is how I became homeless. I can do like an actually in-depth how I became homeless and the lead up to it, because I think that's more important than actually becoming homeless. I think that's more interesting. Yeah. So this next clip is actually going to be my video the way I want it to be. Hi Alley Cats, I'm Kat. I'm here to talk about homelessness. I've sat here for about 3 hours now and thinking, what can I talk about? And try different genres, and I keep coming back to this one. I'm obviously trying to avoid it. It's not something that I really want to talk about. But then I thought a lot about what were my misconceptions about being homeless and my current state. So, like many of you out there, when I think of homeless people or homelessness, I think of, the bum on the street or the guy at 7-Eleven, in his little sleeping bag, that's the word I'm looking for, freezing, and you think, oh, what possibly brought them to this state that they're lying on the floor, it's freezing, it's currently, it's 15 degrees outside, fucking cold, and my heart bleeds, and you think, oh, the stereotypes that go along with it, thinking that, I don't really want to interact with them, or, and then becoming homeless myself opened up my eyes to think, you know what, it isn't just drug affected people, it isn't just people that have come through domestic violence, it isn't people that, I don't know, shit people or uneducated people or people that just get themselves in stupid situations. I guess I fall under I got myself into a stupid situation. Bit of backstory. I became homeless at the start of 2015, January to be precise. That car came really close to my car. That's what I was saying. I came home. I came home from a work skills appointment, work for the dole situation where we're going to try and find you work. Yes. Come home, had a shower, got ready. I thought, I've got some Vampire Diaries taped on my TV. And then I got a knock at the door. And I had missed eviction letters, stating to vacate the property. Usually it's about 28 days warning. Didn't open my mail, didn't receive it, don't know what happened, breakdown of communication. Now I know it's stupidity, but either way, knock on the door from a bail bondsman, and my property agents coming to evict me. And it was really funny because, well, not funny, haha, but funny. It was like, I remember pulling this girl aside to say, what the fuck is going on? And she seemed nicer to approach and talk about the situation than the scary bail bondsman. Turns out that was my property manager. And she had changed from my previous one that I had for 2 years. So, I did well for 2 years, no job. Living in South Australia at the time, with, South Australia has the lowest unemployment rate in the country. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's so freaking hard to get a job. It was so bad getting that eviction that I'd forfeit all my property. And I was like, well, this is not what I wanted. This is not the situation I'm 26 now, so I was 24, and it was freaking scary. Thank God my parents lived 15 minutes up the road, which I had no choice. I had to move in. I had a week. I was very lucky. They gave me a week to pack up my house and move in with my parents. Now people say, well, you're not homeless, you moved back in with your parents. Well, at 24, they'd just moved to Adelaide themselves. They were looking for jobs themselves. They moved in with certain other members of the family, and it just wasn't, it was just a crowded house. So in between, living in like the guest room, it just was not ideal. I wasn't able to pay rent and, help out. So then that went on. I eventually, through the job network place, did a certificate 3, I think, in disability, which I thought, what, I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm just going to say, hey, can I stay here, finish my course. Went south. I finished the course, and then it was time for placement, and then that was a dead end. By the time we finished that course, that would have been June. For a couple more months of going back and forth from mum's house to Centrelink, thank God for Centrelink, to stayed in a hotel for about a month. That was very relaxing. Just sort of, 24, no one really wants to move in back with their parents. Not that there's anything wrong with my parents, just do you want to move back in with mum and dad? Stupid, naive, maybe I should have stayed there longer. After that, I thought, what? I started off in Melbourne, moved to Adelaide, lived in Adelaide for 3 years, couldn't find a job. Fast forward to living at this motel, beautiful motel, very expensive, but I just had to get on my feet and work out what I was going to do with my life. And I ended up moving back to Melbourne, and I ended up getting back with the supermarket that I currently still work at now, but I ended up getting back with them. So moving back to Melbourne, not having any to live, I stayed in a backpackers for, so this was the start of I moved back to Melbourne September 2015, stayed at a backpackers from end of September to start of January 2016, and that was alright because I was still working at the supermarket, thinking, pick up, I'll get some pay slips, do this for a month, do this for 2 months, and then I'll be able to move out, and things will be great. I had my life back together. That didn't work out. I was only getting maybe 5 or 10 hours a week, which wasn't enough to pay the backpackers. Went home for Christmas, came back in January, and when I got back to the backpackers, it was quite late at night. It was actually New Year's Eve, actually. And I walked into the building and there was no one there in reception. They knew I was coming, so I called earlier before I, drove to Melbourne. And they wanted more rent. It was like, I think it was about $200 a week, but it went up to $250. And I think that was just because of the Christmas period. But then there was no one there and I didn't have a key. So I thought, okay. I went and watched the fireworks at Dockland, which was a highlight. Like, I'd never actually gone and seen the fireworks at Dockland. Very nice. Good work, Melbourne. And then I'm driving along thinking, where am I going to sleep tonight? I don't have any money apart from what I was going to pay at the backpackers. If I stayed at a hotel that night, which, mind you, it's 11 o'clock at night. Oh, no, actually. Now, after the fireworks, it would have been about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. There was nowhere. Unless I wanted to pay $200 for that night, there was nowhere. So I thought, all right, I can do one night in my car. One night. I drove out to the northern suburbs. I drove out housing estate. I thought it would be quiet. Well, not thought, it was. It was quiet, secluded. I spent the first night in my car. It was cold. I had like bags because I was going to move back into the hostel. Yeah, so that was interesting. So I'd just driven from Adelaide. I went and saw the fireworks at Dockland. I thought, all right, I'm going to wait. Sorry, the light's just gone off. I thought I'll wait till, what was I waiting for? Oh yes, I'd wait for the morning. I'd driven from Adelaide. I was exhausted. I thought, well, I do want to be up and alert and freaked out because I was, sleeping in my car. I thought I'll wait till I'm exhausted, which I was. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, found my little area, where I'm going to park, and made sure that no one came and, knocked on the window, or no one called the cops on me or anything. So doors are locked, phone charge on, in the chargers and stuff. Uncomfortable. I think I slept on like a bag that I had, no blanket. So then I thought, well, you know what? It's just going to be in the morning. I'm just going to wake up and I'm going to go back to this backpackers. So I get there and I end up getting called into work. So I thought, all right, I'll go to work first. So I put on my uniform, and then afterwards, I think I finished about 6 o'clock. Then I'll go back to the backpackers. Again, that upped the price to $300. And I'm thinking, well, I don't have that. So, and I'm like, oh, I don't get paid until Tuesday. And they just said, no, you can't pay. You need to pay the week. And then they changed it to 2 weeks in advance. There was just no way. So night number 2, end up sleeping in my car. So I end up spending in total about 2 weeks in my car, parking different locations, some around Mernda, some around sort of Craigieburn. I tried to look for really secluded, dark places, no traffic. It was really daunting. I didn't sleep properly. I was probably getting maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. At this stage, I think maybe the 3rd night, I think I had, because I got paid, I think I bought a pillow. I bought a pillow and like a little blow up mattress type thing, so I wasn't just laying on the carpet. And it's just really weird. Like, you wouldn't believe how awkward it is to like not know if people are looking at you, or just being really paranoid that, well, you know, you've parked off the side of the road, you're a little bit secluded, but then you're like, I'm wearing clothes, I want to get in my jammies, so you're literally in the back of my car. And I don't know if you can see back of my car. It is a nice forward drive, that's the word. And so yeah, just the thought of, you know, getting out of my one driver's side to get into the passenger side, to climb up to get changed, it's just weird, really odd and really weird. And that was, yeah, my life for about 2 weeks. Interesting stories along with that, because yeah, I'll just leave it up. Where do you go to the toilet at 3 o'clock in the morning? I'll just leave it there, let your imagination go wild. A few times I sneaked back into the backpackers, but to use the shower, because, well, you know, I still had to go to work, and, you know, my hours picked up. Was really funny, but then it's like, but I have nowhere to sleep. And then, yeah, as I said, the day, it was, oh my god, the worst, no, I wouldn't say the worst day of my life, most hilarious and entertaining day of my life. So this would have been a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I finally found the right person that actually gave a shit, which is probably going to be vlog number 2 of where I end up going. But I wake up and, you know, I've got my phone charged, got my iPad charged, my phone's ringing. I had no credit because it was the day that I could ring up. I got paid, so I had to put credit and stuff on my phone. But then this place near Craigieburn where I was staying was like, there was a house down the road, but it was a dirt track, so it was off the road, so it was like really good. I think I slept there probably 4 nights in a row. But then I started to get like, okay, now it's time to move on. Like, I'm bringing too much attention. It's only 2 houses down this driveway, and I've sort of parked halfway down. So popped my head up to sort of see where I am. Mind you, this is summer and it's fucking hot. So by 8 a.m, if you weren't awake, you were awake, if that makes any sense. Like, it might have been freezing overnight, but the heat in the car, you'd be up by 8. So this particular morning, I had an appointment to go see Launch Housing. And so I've gotten up, think, oh, you know, should I've set my alarm? So I'm thinking my phone's died, everything's died, nothing's working. And I've seen a car drive past. I thought, oh shit, time's fuck, I'm gonna move on. And then there's this red car driving, and then there's like this cop car driving. Like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, I don't want to have to explain again. You know, I'm actually homeless, and this is what's going on. So I thought, you know, got into the driver's side, got dressed, sort of thing. Turned the ignition, and car wouldn't start. Fuck. I had no money. I have to be at this appointment. It's 8 o'clock. I've got to be there by 10. This place is really going to help me. I really don't want to sleep another night in my car. And so I end up, found that I had a little bit of charge on my phone. I called RACV, or REA because it was South Australia, but RACV in Victoria. And I'm finishing telling them my rego. And then I hear like Optus telling me, you have insufficient credit to finish the school. I'm thinking, fuck. So then I realised that I had money. I'm like, oh yes. So I had to charge my phone to ring them back, to call REA out to start my car. So I'm bringing more attention, because now there is cop cars, there is the red car that lives down the road, and now there is RACV coming to jump start my car. Anyway, I end up getting my car jump started, telling me, you know, you've worn out the battery because, well, you've been turning the car off night and using the battery to charge your phone, your devices. So end up having to go to the closest Kmart to put a new battery in my car, and then having to explain to Launch that sorry, eager, and, you know, I'm serious, that's the word, serious about needing help, but I'm late for my appointment. So it looked really bad. By the time I got to Launch, probably was the most depressing, lowest point of my life, thinking I'm educated, I've got a job, I've got money coming in, I'm on and off Centrelink, like depending on what I earn. I want to get a job, but I'm just stuck. And looking at the people around me in the waiting room, they're like, there's this young girl, everyone's got their bags. There's people that are refugees. Got in the waiting room of this launch warehouse? No, not a warehouse. Office. Launch office. There's just people like, you can see them bump the young kids and, they've gone through domestic violence, or maybe that's judging, but you don't know the situation. That's probably the point. You don't know the situation that people are in, whether it's temporary, whether it's ongoing, whether it's long term, whether it's something where, they've come to get a voucher from Salvos. But at least it was on the books. But then, just trying to explain to them that I just need a little bit of help. I just need accommodation. And looking at me like, well, as I said, I'm educated and I'm not on drugs and I don't drink alcohol. I'm not pissing my pay up or injecting my pay, which is a bad stereotype. I don't like that stereotype. But as I said, that was a stereotype that I had to begin with. And just thinking that was the situation that I was in. Launch housing, then I would go at a place that night. So it was 2 weeks worth of unpaid assistance. So they would put me up in a hotel that night, because I think by the time I got there, it was too late to really get the process going. So it's like, all right, well, you've got nowhere to go. You're literally sleeping on the streets. Just thank God I had a car. So I went into a motel around the CBD. Wasn't not nice at all. I don't know, I wasn't expecting the Ritz, but yeah, I think I felt safer in my car, but we won't tell them that. And then it was just that process of like, okay, getting all my stuff out of the car, checking in, them looking at you like, so why did launch housing, contact us, you must be a drug user. So many places that I went to looked me up and down. I even had one place, which I'll get to in a minute, tell me that there is no drugs, there are no big guys hanging out, there are no, we don't want cars, we're a nice family establishment, hotel, and we just don't want people hanging around. And me looking at them like, good, neither do I. You see someone, you call me, I'll call you if I see someone. Which caught them off guard, but that's actually one of my favourite places to stay, because it was like 5 minutes from my work. Yay. And then, so the process repeated of being there at 11 o'clock, saying, no, we don't have any place for you, or ongoing place, because that's what the launch housing was getting me on, to crisis accommodation. But I was crisis. So I was checking in with them at 9, 10 o'clock. I would be there sometimes till 4, 5 o'clock, and just before about to finish, to go check into another motel, to have another night of no food, little bit of money, everyone looking at you like, you're a piece of shit, because that's essentially what it was. It was like I was fucking scum, and that even the mentality of the people you interact with, I'm trying to be, I'll use the word professional. I want to go in and, order a coffee and be like, hey, it's $4. Okay, here's $4. But even, you're coming from launch housing, coming out of that building and going to the coffee shop, so many times they're looking at me and it's like, do you have money? It's like, yeah, of course I have fucking money. Like, why would I come in if I didn't have money? And I know a lot of other people, like, I understand their hostility, because I'm sure they've got a lot of people that come in like, I don't have any money, or they'd order it, start drinking it, or I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the mentality and stereotype that went with it, because that's just not me. Then after 2 weeks of going back and forth, no, I'll go back, because I remember times that I'll say, you know, the night before, like let's say it's Tuesday night, I know, because obviously I get rosters from work, I know that I'm working on the Wednesday, and I know that from 6 a.m. till 4 o'clock I'm working. And then just the mentality of like, no, you need to be at launch. It's like, but I have work. No, you need to cancel. And that just blew my mind. It was like, excuse me, I'm homeless, right? But I have a job. You want me to cancel where I'm working so I can come in and maybe get a room? Of course you're going to give me a fucking room, because I have nowhere else to go. And that mentality fucked me off. Other than that, I love launch housing. Launch housing have helped me out so much. But I think it's, as I was having this conversation with my mum, the people that honestly need the service are going to go back. You're under their schedule, their timetable. You got to do what they tell you to do. If they tell you to jump, you ask how high. So I was in the fighting it, well, no, I have work. And a few times I had to say, look, I'm going to be late. So I would say, look, well, the night before, I'm like, do you know for a fact that I'm going to be going to this crisis accommodation? Like, no, we can't guarantee that. Well, then I need maybe 2 nights at this place so I can come in, see you. If I don't have anywhere, at least I have another night somewhere to sleep. So anyway, this went on for 2 weeks, and then I got a phone call saying we found crisis accommodation, and this is a crisis accommodation, female only. Excuse me, women that have gone through domestic violence, or women that are, doesn't really matter, but drug affected, because that doesn't even bother me. They've got themselves into a shit situation like myself. I'm not better than them. At the end of the day, I am in the same boat as these people that have been through domestic violence or have drug issues. That's not to make myself seem better or worse, but unfortunately I think that I have a better chance of improving my situation than some of the people that were there, and that would frustrate me. It still frustrates me. So I ended up staying at this place. It's only meant to be 6 weeks, but I was really, really lucky because I didn't cause any problems, and my work was picking up. 3 of those weeks I was doing something like 38 hours, and it was like, yes. But this place I had to pay for. This place was half my Centrelink, or $220, $230 a fortnight, and you can't complain with that. Like, that was either way, no matter what my income would be, I would have to pay that each fortnight. This place, the best way I can explain it was respite. This place was amazing. They had community meals. I could come and go, which, yeah, they had a door system. It was secure. Obviously, people with domestic violence don't want partners turning up. It was women only, no men allowed. You see men on property, you'd call the staff. There was always someone there. In the office, there was someone that slept overnight. It was safe. It was secure. Then, yeah, as I said, after about 8 weeks, I moved into a long-term accommodation through launch, and that's where I am now. But unfortunately, again, work has dropped off and I am behind in rent. That's just God honest truth. So it's now Sunday. I need to ring them first thing tomorrow morning to say, oh, please don't evict me, please don't. But, once again, this is the situation I'm in. I very much like not to be in that situation, but once again, I need work, I need money. First world problems. So I've just finished editing my homeless video, and now we're just going to go into me commenting on the unedited version of my homeless video. The editing, as you could tell, no, maybe not, doesn't actually change the context of what I edited. So this comment still does apply to what I've said. The only thing that I've edited from the original is the breaks, the ums, the ahs, the pauses, the confusion, the fidgeting, they're the only things that I've changed. I cut out the I will address this in the comments. I cut out the mistake that I made, and that was telling a location of one of these crisis accommodation places, which I shouldn't have done that. That's it. I'm just going to get straight into the comments now.
A comment, and I think I said it, didn't say it, I don't know. It appeared, I read it quickly once through, and I wasn't in a position to like really read it at the time. And by the time I'd gone home to really read it, all my comments had disappeared from all my videos. So I remember at the time reading this comment going, what the hell is she even talking about? Like, there were some things in there that were like, I don't get. And I you know when you're just like, I can't deal with this right now. So I'm going to read this comment. So this comment is on my homeless video. And it says, I'm not going to mention this person's name, even though it's clearly like has the person's on there. It says, oh, I see summers in July. Is it in Melbourne? No, July is winter. I filmed this in July. But because I just watched the video, I think you're referring to the fact that I was talking about how when I was in my car, which wasn't July, it was fucking hot. And the sun woke you up, and if you weren't awake, you weren't awake because it was that hot in the car. But yeah, filming and becoming homeless were literally like, so this video being filmed and this event was probably, I want to say when was this filmed? So 2016. So I had done this, so let's say January was New Year's, 3 weeks in my car, let's say early February, March, April. By April, definitely I was in transitional, not crisis, transitional housing. So I filmed this while I was in transitional housing. So April, May, June, July. So I was in transitional housing for 4 months, stable accommodation, paying $220 a fortnight in a rental. Stay as long as you need to, get on your feet, no hurry, stable accommodation. Then I filmed this. So this process of being actually on the street in my car homeless was like January, February. But yeah, the time of this filming, I had been in stable accommodation through homeless accommodation for 4 months. I know launch housing, cool. The one where you get coffee at the coffee shop. Are you fucking serious? So this is where I like, what the hell is going on? You know how many launch housing? This is just a random fucking, some of them in industrial areas, some are in the heart of towns, like, you know, Brunswick or Collingwood, or I think there's one in Thornbury. Like, these are in the main streets. So of course, office, courses, coffee shops, you cannot tell from which launch housing that I'm talking about, because Collingwood and St Kilda are very far away from each other. It could be in any coffee shop. So it says the one where you get, I know the launch housing, the one where you get coffee at the coffee shop are the most humanitarian people. Okay, well, yes, I can understand where you're coming from. Like, they should be more accepting because of the building that's around. But that doesn't mean they have to be. And plus, I probably didn't get the person that you got. Or the fucking suburb, anyway. I reckon they're completely different coffee shops. So, anyway, I just remember walking in to a random coffee shop that was actually around the corner, somewhere launch housing was. So it wasn't connected to launch housing. It was completely different building. The Collingwood area is kind of snooty. So I went into a snooty cafe where I'm guessing a lot of riffraff had been in there, unrelated to homelessness, just, I don't know, riffraff in general. So they might have had an issue where people were coming in, sitting down, drinking their coffee, eating their meals and walking out. So I don't know, but I just felt at that time I hadn't had a lot of experience where people were treating me kind of shit, and I felt it weird that they had asked me for money up front like I couldn't pay. That was it. End of story. You get coffee at the coffee shop are the most humanitarian people. I walk into coffee shops next to launch housing. I walked into coffee shop next to launch housing. I only had to say where I was from, and immediately the lovely man made me a coffee for free, then donated the beautiful products. That's what I mean, like, cool. I walked into a coffee shop next to launch housing. I only had to say where I was from. That's great that you told them where you were from and they treated you lovely. I'm so happy that happened to you. And even great that they did it for free. That's nice of them. I don't tend to accept charity, but I'm not above it. There's been times where, actually I will share that in another video. I had a beautiful experience at another coffee shop. Unrelated to the story, but I was just having a shit day, and God bless that girl. I've still kept the coffee lid because she wrote a message on it. I'm free to donate beauty products, okay. And also muffins to eat. That's great. I'm really glad you had a great experience at this coffee shop. I really think you need to edit this video. Yeah, fuck. I know, I definitely agree with you. Breach of security for, yeah, absolutely. You would never be told, you would have been told the rules. No, hun, I was told no rules. I didn't know I was going to make a video. No one knew I made the video. I didn't tell anyone. Friends, family, I didn't tell anyone. When they put you up in motels, it's called HEF funding housing. So this is where it throws me. It's like, you seem educated enough to know the process. But then you've made some really immature comments and presumptuous comments. When they put you up in motels, it's called HEF funds, housing emergency funds, where individuals can have every 6 months. So I didn't go through that. No. I know what you're talking about now because I've used it through the property that I'm in now. But at this time, no. This isn't the process I went through. 6 months, yeah. While you are in motels, you go to IAP, Initial Assessment Plan, IAP, yep, which is a ladder. It ranges from top priority waiting to a long tongue waiting depending on your weight. Hang on, it's called housing. While you're in motel, you go for IAP, Initial Assessment Plan, okay, cool, which is a ladder. It ranges from top priority waiting to long time waiting. Okay, yep, depending on your weight. Yep, alright, that's how I got from Launch Collingwood to crisis accommodation. The women are probably safe for you as the other crisis centres in South Bank. No, darling. The first crisis accommodation that I went to was the Gatwick. So, you know. And I didn't even last an hour there. No shame. If anyone knows the Gatwick, you know the Gatwick. If you know, you know. Isn't that the 2020 saying? If you know, you know. You know. No. When did I go to the Gatwick? I think that was my transitional. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother story. I haven't thought about this in years. It's been 4 years. When you're in a motel, depending on your weight, the women was probably safe for you. Crisis Centre South Bank. I have heard a lot of bad things about South Bank, but I actually always wanted to go to South Bank because those properties were amazing and they were nice. Well, the place I knew about anyway. It's full of people taking drugs. Yeah, I have heard of that. My argument with Launch Housing is the way they are proud to allow safe intervention of drugs, which is wrong. Huh? My argument with Launch Housing is the way they allow safe intervention of drugs, which is wrong. I hardly call cooking meth in a communal kitchen safe. People smoke it in the rooms. this in there. Okay, at first when I read that, I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I thought you were talking about safe injection rooms when you said safe intervention of drugs. Look, launch housing don't judge. Whether you're a sex worker, whether you are a drug addict, whether you have a drug issue. I think that falls as a drug addict, but I didn't like how negative that was. So I feel like these buildings should be segregated. That's the only way I agree with what you're writing. I did deal with, in my personal bubble, personal room, had to deal with people taking hard drugs. And I'm not talking weed or where they just mellow out and have a few, I don't know, puffs in their room. That didn't bother me. You do you, hun. What you do when you close that door is fucking none of my business. But as I said, when you're in the communal kitchen, which I used twice, and I lived at this property for, I think, about 2 years. Like, I literally put my kitchen stuff in a bucket. Like, my room, for some reason, was really, really big. And I made, like, a makeshift kitchen. Like, I had an oven, which I'll probably do a tour of the stuff that I had when I was in, which I had this from Adelaide that I'd bought. Did I? No, I went out and bought the oven. Because I was too afraid to go to the communal kitchens because there was just dirt, absolute filth, and there was just drug utensils and paraphernalia everywhere. So yeah, I was too scared to use the communal laundry because that meant that I had to leave my room, essentially. This is also why my video was filmed in my car at 11:30 at night in Fairfield, because 95% of the time I didn't want to be in my room even if the door was locked, because you would hear arguments because of the street that I was on, or you would hear other girls yelling about other shit, or this dealer was coming around looking for this girl or looking for this. It was just shit. It was a shit fest. So I agree that launch housing should segregate. If you're gonna do this, then you should probably go over here. Then this property, well, not this property, but then you should have a house that people that are probably older have the same values. To be honest, I was working and I was coming home. That's all I wanted to do, was work, get on my feet and come home. That's it. There was a lot of shit that went down at this property. A lot of cops being called for drug affected girls. One girl. We just couldn't get rid of her. Our launch actually tried. They actually tried. And, there's an eviction process, there's a tribunal process, there is a court process. And it actually is really hard to evict someone. So this person might have been off the drugs at the time, or in drug therapy, or in alcohol counselling, or in whatever. Because I'm a huge advocate for mental health, and I have mental health issues myself, and are very knowledgeable to a certain extent about mental health. And what's my point? There's definitely a comorbidity, or co-occurring issues. So the people that do have the drug and alcohol issues have mental health issues as well, whether they're little or whether they're severe. Like they feed off each other. So at the time, this person might have been completely stable. So when they chose to put this person in to transitional housing with the normal people, with a caseworker, she might have been fine. And then this person created huge issues where cops had to be called. Like literally 6 or 7 cops were called because she had taken what she'd taken. She was fucked off with the person below her. So she decided to run every single tap, because she had a full kitchenette, she was at the back. Tap, shower, I think there's only water facilities. which overflowed everything and was running down from the apartment into this person where she didn't like. But she was so off her head that we were all yelling at her, like, turn your fucking water off. Like, yeah, she was just, it took 6 cops to literally beat down the door and arrest her, turn off the water, like carpet cleaner people had to be called in to like suck the water out of this carpet. Yeah, and she still was not evicted. So yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, I don't care if people want to partake and do what they want to do. I think, you know, it's a free world. But I'm in a situation enough where I don't want to deal with it, and I'm being made to deal with it. So it was very confronting. I mentioned drugs, which I hardly call cooking meth in a communal kitchen safe, and people smoking. Yeah, I understand. So definitely you were safe where you are. I did not ask to be homeless. So definitely you were safe where you are. I did not ask to be homeless. Are you trying to say that I was 100% safe where I was? And that I am saying that I didn't ask to be homeless? Whereas opposed to I'm accusing you that you asked to be homeless? I don't know what you're saying. Because I was 80% safe because I was hardly there. Hardly there. And I think I actually, after this, I actually took off for a while. So, yeah, I wasn't safe. I did not feel safe. So, whether it was perceived or a real threat, I did not feel safe. No, I did not ask to be homeless, nor am I accusing you or people saying they asked to be homeless. If I've implied that, then I apologise. But I think which I really hope that I can include in this, I gave a really good example of how explanation of preconception, pre-notion of what I thought homeless was, and the experiences that led people on that pathway to become homeless. Like, I had no idea. I didn't realise that homelessness can happen to anyone. I didn't realise that my private school education, which I did, I had private school education, I had a stable 2-parent figure in the home since the age of 11 onwards, good Christian values, Greek background, good family, good support. Yeah, we weren't well off, but we weren't looking for toilet paper in public toilets kind of thing. Like, we weren't desperate. There was definitely spots in my life where I knew we were poor, but we weren't, like, my mum hid that from me. If we were, I didn't 100% know about it. But nothing prepared me to be in the situation that I was going to be in and the things I was going to face. I didn't realise how naive I was. That's it. That's all I was trying to say at the start of my video, is that I didn't realise what homeless was, to be honest, until I experienced it. No, I didn't ask to be homeless. I feel like I made some decisions that was definitely going to be the trajectory, but no. I did not ask to be in a domestic violence and assault situation. Do you think that I really hope, and I'm so sorry because I really, at first trying to articulate everything, I really hope that I haven't come across as I thought. Because this video was me talking to the teenager in me of what I thought homelessness was until I got older and I started to see situations. I really hope. But what the safest stay in a crisis centre or go back to a perpetrator. Not everyone is on drugs either. Yeah, you're right. I don't ever think I ever implied that you had to be on drugs to be homeless. Some just become victims. Yeah, fucking oath. Becomes a trap that never ends. I think I have to be strong and knowing what I said and what I didn't say, and that I never implied that you asked to be in a domestic violence relationship. I never implied that because you had been through one that you were in that minority of homelessness. I know a lot of people that have been through it, and a lot of people that haven't. Yeah. I'm so sorry if I implied. Well, I didn't. I know I didn't. So, if that's what you took from it, I can't help you. But at the same time, I do know my explanation at the start was kind of like a bit naive and a bit like not very well explained. But you know, that's just in reference to this comment. Because some things I agree with and some things I didn't agree with. But, like, I kind of think that this whole comment, I'm just going to say it, I call bullshit. Because you're asking a question about summer being in July in Melbourne, but then you apparently know the launch housing that I went to without me stating where I went to. The HEF fund only applies to people that are in private rental or crisis rental. You have to have a lease agreement where you're at risk of being evicted or not being able to pay your rent. They give you a one-off every 6 months help to get back on your feet so you don't become homeless. It's preventative homelessness. But you have to be in the housing, in a house, in a lease agreement to get the housing emergency fund. While you're in the motel, you go... Okay, well, I was going from hotel to hotel. I'm sure I had some sort of assessment. So I'm just going through the comments again, line by line. Well, I'm sure the woman was safer for me. I would have preferred. I wouldn't have gone to someone that had males. Because you don't know my background either, honey. My argument... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think that they should mingle either, but at the same time, I was in a good place mentally to be able to cope with the drug use and the bullshit because I could just switch off. There are a lot of people, like, I had my car. There's a lot of people that had to deal with it and couldn't cope. Like, there was a lot of people that came and go and that, like, I'd rather be back on the street than fucking dealing with this shit, all this bullshit. But whereas me, I took off for about a year. Like, actually took off for about a year. I had a job in a country town. I then had another job in a country town where I was and I was able to sleep at these places or with friends. So I was paying rent in St Kilda, but there was probably a good 6 months where people thought I was dead. Like, my roommate actually thought I'd moved out. Like, she did not know. I'd saw her, like, saying hello and hi. So this would have been back probably November. So yeah, this was filmed in July. And I didn't come back, and yeah, after July, I think I took off. So July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, I didn't come back to about November, December. So after this video, yeah. Yeah. And it was when I came back in November, it's also why I came back, is that I was able to get back on top of my rent. And I got behind again. So I had to come back because I had to come back for VCAT. and I got on a payment plan, and then I was living there from, like, 100% living there from November 2016 to August 2017. Yeah. But, nah, definitely wasn't safe. But you just, yeah, you make some assumptions as well that just aren't called for, and I don't know why you mentioned some of them. But you've got me on the security thing. I should never do want to find a way to edit it. I really hope I don't have to take the video down. But other than that, yeah, let's address the other comments, because I've received some nice, beautiful comments. This person wrote, I live in St Kilda and can relate to homeless people. Homeless people are more understanding than your average Joe Blow. Good luck. This is my sister, because she's very proud. Aww. This is, I can't mention who this person is, but yeah, this person's awesome. Yeah, I should know who this person is. Don't know who this person is. It's poverty affected people. I have liked the comment, but it's not all poverty affected people. Like, especially in the circumstance that we are in now, I think a lot of people are realizing that, like, that doesn't matter who the fuck you are, whether you have 10 kids or whether you have 1 kid, whether you have a 2 household income, whether you have a 1 house income. If someone loses their jobs and you can't pay your fucking bills and you can't afford to feed your kids, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It can happen to anyone. And I think I was living in La La Land for so long that what happened to me? Can't happen to me. What are they going to do? Evict me? They can't evict me. Why are they going to evict me? This person says, go back to Adelaide, shower at BP's, truck stops, sleep at places. And you know what? I really wish, because I didn't realise about van life, which I'm obsessed with, until probably about 2 years ago. And I kind of wish I knew what I knew now, because when I was living in my car, I could have done my car up. Like, I could have got a fridge and I could have lived out in my car, and I think I would have loved it. I honestly think I would have loved it. Yeah, go back to Adelaide, shower, maybe sleep at places that are 24 hours. Yeah, servos. We're also industrial. It's not against the law to sleep in your car. That is always. I think I know what you're trying to say, and I'm like, you know, yeah. I'm gonna comment. Hey, thank you for your comment. Yeah, I felt Adelaide was an option. If I felt, yeah, it wasn't, as I don't know if I explained in this video or the one that I got spliced together. Home life wasn't great. It wasn't my parents. It was, my parents were amazing. It was the people living with my parents. But I'd rather walk through. Was it walk on broken glass? Hot broken glass? Yeah. Yeah. It was none. If I had my time over again, I would love to do my car up and van life, yeah. Oh, that was a year ago. I'd be more organised and set up and know how to live basic life things. At the time, my life, it happened in a matter of seconds, and I had no idea it was coming, yeah. Work is great now, and I have moved on and live in the house now, which is mine, yeah. You have your own place in Melbourne now? Yes. So that will be part 2. Oh, it's the same person, so I didn't realise. Oh, thank you. He commented twice. Oh, that's really beautiful. But yeah, no, I hope that comment or my reply wasn't too negative, but it goes to show it is a two-way street. You need to know what the fuck you're talking about, but also that applies to me, because I feel like I can't express this enough. It was my first YouTube video. Like, I literally, don't know if I explained it, but I literally filmed it on my iPad. It had a crack in the screen. I filmed it and then uploaded it. Didn't even know about editing software. Didn't even know how to do it. I literally saw a button that said film on YouTube and I pressed the button. And I filmed it all in one take. I said shit when I realised that I was probably going in an area that I shouldn't have go. I tried to shut it down, and that is the last 2 minutes of my video. We all make mistakes. But yeah, I have to go edit this now and upload it because I really want to post my part 2 of homelessness on the 4-year anniversary, which it's 10:30, so that kind of happens in 2 hours and I need to edit this. Don't forget to like and subscribe.